We have close to about 8,000 gallons of flow going through those two areas right there. We're gonna actually rock underneath this one so water can pass underneath the one side of it, but it's sure gonna be moving as you walk over those stepping stones. We'd like to be done with this thing by the end of the weekend. We got 3 days left, so definitely have our work cut out for us, but we are moving along nicely. This is a really, really exciting project for us. When you have a canvas like this, it really makes it special. So we're rolling into the job site here in Augusta, New Jersey. So the 4 of us are here to complete this project and make it a wonderful, wonderful backyard water feature. Wait until you see the backyard. It's absolutely amazing. They call it Lake George for a reason. Even though we're in Augusta, New Jersey, you feel like you're in a paradise oasis, even without the waterfall. This waterfall is just gonna make it extra special. Tom sprayed out a little design earlier, but now the design is fully sprayed out and we're ready to start digging. Welcome to Lake George. That's an awesome sign if anybody hasn't been there. It's a great place to visit. But the homeowner's name here is George and we're in Augusta, New Jersey. And this place is like a backyard oasis. So let's go through the project that we got going on here. Beautiful Aquascape Pondless Waterfall. We're gonna have 12 large aqua blocks in here for a reservoir area. Like we said, it's gonna be the basin. And then in front of us, we're gonna have a series of waterfall drops. We're also gonna have some retaining boulders over to the left here. Those retaining boulders is gonna bring the earth elevation equal to this side over here. So people are gonna walk along through here, across some stepping stones to a patio area over there in the hillside. And then one thing that's really cool after this series of waterfall drops here is gonna be a pooling area. We're also gonna do a bluestone bridge going across the stream here, leading out from that patio area. The pooling area up here is gonna be really, really neat because we're gonna have a spillway bowl with about 3,000 gallons of water flowing through it. So that's gonna be a really neat touch. This is a really, really exciting project for us. When you have a canvas like this, it really makes it special. Stay tuned as we show you how this project unfolds, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to follow along in our journeys. So we got the pondless basin pretty much shaped out. They're pulling the aqua blocks back out of the hole. We are doing our final measurement, making sure everything lines up. This is one of my favorite parts of the job, seeing what's gonna come out of the truck and what we can turn into a beautiful waterfall. We're taking sand from the back of the dump truck and putting a thin layer down in the hole down below. Digging the hole a little extra deep and putting a thin layer of sand allows you to level those blocks very easily. After the sand goes in, put the underliner fabric, liner, and another layer of fabric, and then finally the blocks in the hole. After that, we'll fold the fabric in and the liner in, and we'll start backfilling the pondless basin. When we get back here tomorrow, we're gonna turn this pile of boulders into a beautiful waterfall. It's amazing that you can take some rocks like this, put them in the right orientation, and have a beautiful waterfall. Hey Ralphie, what day is it?
Day 2.
And we're ready to get rocking and rolling. Raphael and myself has set our first 3 boulders. We got one frame rock over here to the left, which is kind of like a slide rock. Got a big, taller framer over to the right. And then this guy here is gonna hold back some of the gravel. We're gonna build a shelf back there on the aqua blocks so we could set this 4th stone in over here. This right here is gonna be our spill side of the rock. And we don't want that sitting down on the aqua block because it'll sit too low. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to backfill behind this with gravel. So what we'll do is lay a piece of fabric here in that area on top of the block so that gravel cannot penetrate down into the aqua block. And we're gonna fill this with a nice bed of gravel, maybe 5-6 inches. So by making that rock level right there, that'll allow the water that's coming down the hill to flow evenly. One thing that's really nice about that rock is how it angles and points out. So we'll get a nice view from multiple areas. And then the rest of the water is gonna come here and fall on that big rock and kind of wash right around. So we got a lot of bottom boulders set into the waterfall. That right there is the bottom spillway stone. And then this section right here gets pretty interesting. It's a couple of small drops and pooling areas in between those boulders. So right there in front of us, that area there is gonna be like a 10-inch, 12-inch deep pool. And the same thing in between these cracks on those rocks. Utilizing the foam, we're gonna make little holding areas for the water to gather and pull up just like it would in nature. And then in front of us here are those stepping stones that myself and Raphael got in today. We set them on a rock pad, which is a heavy-duty geotextile fabric, and the water should be ripping through these. We have close to about 8,000 gallons of flow going through those two areas right there. We're gonna actually rock underneath this one so water can pass underneath the one side of it, but it's sure gonna be moving as you walk over those stepping stones. So Ryan, what are you doing over here?
I'm putting in a bib liner. First time doing it. So we're trying to create a pool in this area. So I'm laying down the liner in this section, putting in a couple rocks, hopefully create a nice little cave in here. And yeah, hopefully I'm doing well.
Perfect, perfect, exactly what we need you to do. And that bib liner is on top of the aqua blocks. And normally water is just gonna go down in those. But what Ryan is doing over here is putting a liner on top of them. We call that a bib liner. Then it'll add foam around the rocks. It's not a watertight seal, but it allows the water to flow over that area instead of disappearing and adds a little more length to your stream. And I'm up here with Jose and Jonathan, and we got our first boulder set in. That's our large spill boulder. Raphael's over there in the Kubota, and he's coming in with our large boulder for one of the frame sides. We're gonna lay this one horizontal, backfill behind it with gravel, and then place another boulder behind it, making it looking like it's interlocked, and that'll give us the height we need to frame out the right side of that spillway. On today's episode of Barbecue and Boulders, we are making spicy chicken tacos. They've been going for a little while on the grill. We got some nice charcoal and apple wood. Kind of tough building waterfalls and barbecuing at the same time, but it's well worth it when you see the guys' faces and we're all eating lunch together. Wow. That looks tremendous. Some smoked jalapenos to go along with the tacos. This is gonna be delicious. So we got Ralphie setting the cinder blocks here that bluestone bridge is gonna set on. We're using 2 cinder blocks on each side. That's roughly about 30 inches wide from side to side. And the bridge is gonna be 36 inches. So we'll have about a 3-inch overhang on each side. And those blocks on the other side over there need to be set to a 5-foot width because our stone is 3 foot by 5 foot. So we're gonna be working on the base of the patio earlier in the afternoon today. We have a nice geotextile fabric in front of us, a little thinner than what we would normally use on the ponds, but it serves the purpose of keeping the soil and the gravel we're gonna be putting on top of this separate. So over time, the gravel does not settle down into the soil. We're gonna be covering this whole area where the patio is, and then covering in here with a layer of 3/4 inch gravel, roughly about 9 to 10 inches thick. And probably about every 3 inches, we're gonna run a plate compactor to tamp it down in levels. That way it's nice and solid for when the landscaper comes in, David Wright and his crew, for the flagstone patio. After those cinder blocks are level, we'll be able to set that stone right on top of there and make a cool little bridge. What we'll wind up doing is folding the liner up on the back side of each cinder block and then packing that with soil, and the water will be able to pass underneath. We'll try to hide some of the cinder block with some framing stones, but you really don't see what's in the middle. So we got Ryan over here, and he's building some aqua blocks. He's gonna build 2 small, 2 large this morning, and we're using those for the risers for those patio ponds. Aaron just finished up the bulkhead on this, and that's how the plumbing's gonna feed the bowl. And the reason for the aqua blocks are to raise the bowls at different heights. The bowls will be spilling in different directions by cutting different outlets on the rim of the bowl, and we're gonna be using 2 different sizes, a smaller one up top and a larger one down below. So the first rock is in up top, and we wanted to bring the element of those bigger boulders that we use down below up into this area. So this is one of the first rocks we're placing up here, besides the ones that we put over there by the bridge. So the guys are about to set in the second bowl. It's the larger of the 2 patio ponds, and we have to get it plumbed into the aqua block. It's a little difficult to do, but we want a watertight seal. So we got an elbow down in the aqua block, a little stub of pipe, and then a bulkhead on the bottom here with an MPT. So it takes a little bit of energy to get this in there, but once you do, it's gonna be one awesome fountain setup. Spillway bowls are in place, starting to place the rocks around the aqua blocks, and then we'll start cutting spillways out. This one's gonna spill 360, and this one will have multiple spills. Raphael's cutting some flat stone so we can face the aqua block there, and give a nice little deep cavern effect. Aaron's well along on the plumbing. Here we have our 3-inch line from our SLD 5 to 9,000 gallon per hour pump. We have a ball valve there and a clean out. That ball valve there is so in the winter time, we can shut the line off and drain it from here. That allows us to get that line free of water and allows us to have less chance of freezing. And then Aaron's doing the same thing up here on the 2-inch line. And he has 2 ball valves there. From the 2-inch line, it goes into a manifold and splits into 1.5 inches, which feeds each of these bowls. Once Aaron finishes this up, we can pressurize the lines with water and add some more water to the basin. Once we finish a little bit of this edging, we're ready to start this thing and see it flow. To go through a couple of things on this project here. One of my favorite things about this waterfall that we did was this deep stream area. It's kind of really neat. There's not much elevation change after the stepping stones. So we used some large flat boulders and angled them different ways to form little cascades like you would see in nature as it comes down through here, and a little pooling area in the back. So that's one of my favorite parts about building this waterfall. One of the things that was really, really neat too was incorporating it into this retaining wall up here. Getting this waterfall to come in here and then actually blend right into the end of the retaining wall. It was really neat. Gives a great view from the pool area down below. So I really, really enjoyed that aspect. Thanks for watching the episode on the Lake George Waterfall. Tune in next week as we go on to a different project. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and press the like button.